In this video, we will talk about how to determine the total value of a continuous income stream. So let's begin with some background. We would like to calculate quantities related to the value of a company's or person's, typically it's going to be a company or a person in this scenario, and there's some quantity related to the company or person that we're interested in, like the company's sales or the person's income, etc. So when doing that, it is helpful to assume they receive money continuously. So they're not just, we're going to be assuming that they're not just receiving money every year or every month, that they're receiving money continuously. Because it turns out this is nice for the sake of computations. When I have continuous functions, we can do things like find a definite integral of that function, and that's going to be helpful for us. And when companies earn high quantities of money, this assumption that they receive that money continuously is a pretty good one. Alrighty, so one of the types of functions that we've looked at the integral of before is the rate of change of some function. So specifically, let's say that we're looking at the rate of change of an income function. So in general, if income is received at a rate of R of t, dollars per unit of time, then when we look at the integral of this function R of t, that's the rate at which income is received on some interval from a to b, this is going to represent the net change in income over that time period. And we refer to this as the total value. And that's the key topic from this video, total value. So total value is the income change over this time period, which technically means it's just the income received over this time period. So it's from t equals a to t equals b. So I can be a little bit more specific than saying just, oh, it's the change in income. I can actually say that it's the income received because I can't be losing income. Alrighty, so that is a big formula from this video, so I'm going to highlight this. And I'm going to end the video now by looking at an example. Alright, so let's scroll it down. Let's look at an example. Okay, so in this example, it says that Nintendo's annual net sales, another way to say that is their revenue in the fiscal years from 2000 to 2014 is approximated by this function, R of t. And R of t is measured in billion yen per year. Okay, and t is spanning the interval from 0 to 14, where t is the number of years from the start of the 2000 fiscal year. So that means something like t equals 0. If I were to look at t equals 0, this corresponds to the start of 2000, the fiscal year 2000. And then it says, find Nintendo's total revenue from the start of fiscal year 2006 to the start of fiscal year 2014, round to the nearest billion. Alrighty, so we want to know the total amount of revenue that they earn over this time period. Okay, so let's scroll it down a little bit more. All right, so we want the total, I'm going to practice using that terminology, total value from, so the start of 2006 is t equals 6. It's 6 years from the start of 2000. Okay, and then 2014 would be t equals 14. Okay, so that total value should be the integral from 6 to 14 in this case of this rate of change of their sales, which is negative 3.75 t cubed plus 44 t squared plus 380 dt. Okay, so I'm going to move this up to the top of the page and continue the computation. All right, so now we are ready to do this antiderivative. Okay, so this is just going to be a bunch of reverse power rule. So for the first term, we'll get negative 3.75. I add 1 to the power to get t to the 4th, and then I divide by that power to get 4 in the denominator. Well, the next term, similarly, I'll get 44 t cubed, and then I have to divide by that new power. And then with the last term, that constant term, its antiderivative, I would get 380 t. And then I got to put a vertical line because this is a definite integral. Put the 6 at the bottom, 14 at the top. And from here, it's just some plugging in and subtracting. So I'm going to skip that computation. I'm just going to put equals, dot, dot, dot. Okay, and then I'm just going to say what we get after we work it out. We will end up getting 5,317. But what were the units here? The units of money were, this was actually in billion yen. So billion yen. That would be their revenue over that time period. All right, so in terms of our goals for this section, we have finished our first goal, which was a bit of review. We were talking about what does it mean if you take an integral of a rate of change function. It was just a specific rate of change. It was the rate of change of income being received. And we called this the total value. So in the next video, we'll start to talk about a situation where we have a continuous income stream, but as we get that income, as it starts to come in, right away, we're going to be depositing that income into some account that earns interest. And in the next video, we'll talk about how do you compute its future value? How much that income, on top of that interest that it starts to earn, is going to be worth in the future.